Halito, everybody, welcome back. This is CT over at the Native Reality, and today we're going to be talking about Married at First Sight. I don't know if you guys caught the episode or not. Hopefully you did. This was an interesting episode. We got to see basically how they were, swapping dates. Now, I don't know. Hopefully I got this right. This internet thing, sometimes it's kind of lagging, so I don't know. Maybe I said hello twice in this video. Anyway, good morning. How are you? This is going to be brought to you from a mixed urban Native American perspective and a secular perspective. So keep all that in mind when we're talking about these different dynamics, especially when it comes to gender and traditional roles. So we start off the episode with with Chris and Nicole, and they are on their way to New York, and it's going to be their first time or his first time meeting all of her people and kind of seeing her in her like like a New York element, which can be a little bit different. Now we're really going to see New York, right? We're really going to see that come out of her, and that can be it can be a bit much for people, and on top of the fact that she already is kind of anxious and a little neurotic and stuff too. So I think New York can make it worse to me, yeah. So I'm just wondering if he's going to be like in the middle of like Fifth Avenue. Oh my God, I can't take it anymore. Once they get there, and she's like very comfortable in her element, but being like extra wacky, right? We'll see. But now we have Clint and Dom. So they meet up at the park, and it's because, apparently he wants to get a new dog. So he needs to meet up with Dom. Like, what does Dominique and her dog have to do with him getting a new dog? He just spent all this time with Hank. He knows what it's like to be with a dog. He knows what it's like to, I don't know. It just looks a little silly to me. I think, he has some attraction towards her, but maybe he's just not. I feel like Hank is not the kind of person who's maybe that outward when he is attracted to someone, or maybe, or I don't know, maybe just because he knew Gina wasn't into him, we never saw him really make a move. He's always kind of like in this joking kind of stance. So I don't know, but we already saw the preview. We already know that him and Dominique have shared a kiss, so we'll get to that a little bit later. I guess maybe next week, hopefully. So then they're talking about like their exes, and Clint is telling her that that Mac and Gina went on a date, and he's acting like he's not so bothered by it, and Dom's like, okay, like I don't care, but really I think that she is a little bit salty about it. But at the end of the day, she wanted the divorce, so I think she'll be okay. But it did seem to kind of sting just a little bit when she found out about that. But then she proceeds to tell Clint that she is interested in Gil. I said, what, Gil? Like Mirla's Gil? Like, okay, Gil is a nice looking guy. Gil is definitely a nice looking guy, but all the adventure and stuff like that she wants, I don't know if that's really Gil's thing. And there were some definite questions about Gil's finance. Listen, he's a fireman, so he makes money. But he was starting off though, when he was on that season with Mirla. So maybe he's making more money now. I don't know if he's going to make enough money for her. I don't know. I don't see Dom and Gil. I do not see it at all. But anyway, she wants to, she's feeling kind of hesitant because she wants to talk to him. So Clint's like, just send him a DM. Go ahead, listen. And she's like, really? Should I? Oh my God, okay, like really? And she writes the DM, and she says, but you got to send it. So he sends it for her. I was like, how high school is this? Oh my God. It just shows like how immature she is, right? I was like, if you just like the guy, just go ahead and just give him a shout out. If he's interested, he is. If he's not, he's not. Who cares? And nothing lost. You already got married to a stranger. You can't lose anymore. But I feel like this is where Clint kind of falls into like the friend zone with a lot of the women that he's around. He's so like buddy like, and if he was interested in Dominique at some point, and we do know that he eventually was attracted to her, why didn't he say like, Gil, like, what are you doing with Gil? Why don't you try to get, go out with me, let's go sailing or something, since she likes adventure and water and stuff. So I just feel like he's always in this friend, jokey kind of life of the party sort of thing. And I can see a little bit about what Gina was saying where she was getting a little tired of that, right? But I mean, he didn't stand a snowball's chance in hell anyway because he had red hair. But anyway, moving on. So now we're back to Kirsten and Jasmine. So they're like looking at, I don't know, was that a house or something like that? And, talking about the future and when they want to buy their homes and, how they want to set up their life going forward. And Jasmine, or who, I don't remember which one it was, but one of them was saying like, don't get a house yet, and the other one's like, oh, go ahead and get your house. I don't remember who said what, but anyway, it wound up going into their conversation about like, what's his name, Shaquille, and the death of his grandmother, which was very unfortunate. That was really sad because we got to see her like in the like the pre-wedding stuff, like she was there, and she looked kind of youngish and she seemed healthy and everything, but who knows what she was going through and stuff. So that was really sad, and I know that's really hard for him and his family. So Kirsten was still being kind and still trying to be there for him, I guess, in that situation. But yeah, that was the girls getting together. But Kirsten is saying that she's ready to date and she wants to go out and everything. So now we're with Mac and Eris. So they meet up, and McKinley tells Eris that he's actually going back to Michigan. He accepted a position, and he's happy with his choice. However, he's still been interested in Gina, and he wants to pursue that, but he's scared to tell her, so she doesn't know at this point. Right now, they just haven't expressed interest in each other. Nothing has really happened that we know of. So so-called allegedly, you never know. But so Eris said he's getting back out there and everything. Now we get to, so now at this point it is 10 days after decision day, and just to give you a little timeline, right? So Nicole goes to the gym, or she takes Chris to the gym. And they're working out, and Chris is very out of shape, okay? And Nicole is over there like a little, She-Ra with the dumbbells and stuff like that. She's quite athletic. And now it makes sense, because I always noticed her shoulders were like, so, like this. I was like, what's going on? Like, does she do exercises or something? So apparently, like, she is really into, like an athletic lifestyle and stuff. So I think that's one thing that she's not saying completely, but I think that's one thing that turns her off about Chris, that he doesn't do it, and she's really trying to get him to be like her. Now, but I think it's kind of not fair, though. I mean, it's nice if you guys share interests, but working out, that's such a personal decision. I mean, you can't. I hate how I see people on TV. They're always like, oh, I want someone who's really athletic, and I want someone who's really active, and that's your life. You know what I mean? Your partner's not necessarily going to do all those things with you. I mean, it's nice if they could, but the main thing is that you're to me, that your like morals align with one another, and what you want for the future lines up, and like finances, that's the huge one. Family, culture, religion. If somebody works out or not, I mean, I don't know. But anyway, she's not complaining. I'm not saying she's complaining, but I think that is what she wants, and I wonder if she's used to dating guys that are a little bit more fit. So, she always knows how to give the very gentle nudge. That's one thing I like about Nicole. She's very soft with her, suggestions and things like that. So, he's, but you saw the look on his face like, oh God, like, did I marry Jim Rat? Like, am I going to have to be going on, morning hikes and stuff every week or something? So, the look on his face, you could tell he was a little like, I don't know about this. But he says he's going to try, and, that's nice. But if he doesn't really get into it, which I don't think he's going to be totally into it, she needs to let it go. That's not his thing, and I'm just not into all that, trying to get somebody to work out with you. I don't know. Unless you guys are both really like fitness nuts and that's your thing you have in common, that's totally different. So now we go to Jasmine. Oh, all right. So Jasmine, it's time for her date, right? And this guy's incognito. She doesn't tell us much about him. The only thing that we find out from him is somebody that she used to know. And I think he was back from like college days or something like that. So they won't show his face. Smart, Jasmine. Very, very smart. No one has done this so far, but I would do the same thing. I would tell those producers, if you want to know who I'm going on a date with, don't mess it up for me, before it even gets off the track. So that was a smart move on her part. So, she's talking about her previous marriage and what wrong with that and everything. And now she needs to make sure that he's attracted to her, because now it's going to be in her head for the rest of her life. Am I an attractive woman? Are people attracted to me? So, he's like, oh, come on. Why are you even asking me that? So, that's a good thing that there was attraction. But I mean, I wasn't surprised about that. It was just the lack of attraction because it was a blind situation. And this is someone that she knew previously. So I'm assuming there was chemistry. The date seemed to be going well, and she seemed to be really, really giddy. But, I just wonder, like, is he going to be at a stage, because she wants marriage. Remember, she was saying to Kirsten, like, how she wants to, if possible, to get married again within a year. And she's going to be setting some really strong boundaries about, making sure she's not, as they say, withering on the vine, you know what I mean? Just sitting out there dating somebody endlessly for 10 years, and then you finally get engaged, that's another 5-year kind of thing. No, she's setting her limits, and I think she needs to do that because she knows I want to say she's seen the good parts of marriage, but I'm going to say she's seen that from other couples, because I don't think she got any of that from him. I mean, hell, I think, Kirsten and Shaq got more of the good things from marriage than even Jasmine and Eris. I mean, that was just nothing, basically. So I think she sees the potential of what it could look like, and, being with all these other couples and having their routine and meeting up and, having someone to come home to and things like that. I think she still wants that. And I totally understand that. She's in her 30s. Give it, a year. That's it. By a year if you want to marry somebody or not. Like, I mean, I know people who do these 9-10 year engagements and they still get married. And that's fine if that works for them. But, when you know what you want and you're like this and you've already had the marriage, that's right. Don't waste your time with these long, drawn-out engagements. Do you want to get married or no? Whatever it is. Like, you want to do it, like, come on, let's hurry up. Hurry up already. Let's get down the aisle. Let's go. Like, Kirsten just wants somebody else right there, like a husband right there in the house. Like, it's hard because, like, you thought, I was not the person who sat there and thought, oh my God, I can't wait till one day I get married, one day it was never like that for me. But once I decided that I wanted to be married, like, that was it. I was not sitting here. You were not going to have me over here waiting 3-4 years. No, absolutely not. We knew and I made that, and I was clear about that. And we had that conversation, like, let's give it a year, that way, if you're still feeling the same, I'm still feeling the same, then we do an engagement. That can be, maybe a year or something like that. And then after that, you get married. That's it. I was in my 30s. Come on. Who had all that time, please? And your egg count starts to deplete after a while. If you're looking to have kids. I don't know if they're looking to have kids or not necessarily. But anyway. So that was their date, but it was we got to see that giddiness from her, like, and I was just a little like, okay, she's really giddy with this guy. I'm hoping that he's gonna be able to give her everything that she's looking for, and not, he's just, any soft landing spot will be good after Eris. I'm just hoping it's not one of those situations, because he didn't sound to me like someone who was really looking for marriage. I mean, maybe he was. They didn't get that in depth with the conversation, but he just was like, he sounded, just from the little bit of dialogue that we heard, he didn't sound that deep. He wasn't like, hey, listen, I've known you all these years, and, you're in a different place in your life. I'm in a different place in my life. And, I'm kind of ready to settle down and start a family. Now, see, if he would have said that, I would have been like, okay, now let's take a look at this, because she already knows him. So she's obviously comfortable and she's okay with his past and everything. So now let's take it to the next step. He was not giving me next step. And that's okay, because you know what? This is the first date after coming out of a marriage. So she doesn't have to marry the first one. But this one, I don't know. I wasn't getting a marriage vibe from him. So now we're back with Clint. So Clint decides to go on a blind date. Now somebody hooked him up with this girl. She shows up, nice looking girl, whatever. And first thing I noticed is that she had red hair. Now I was half asleep when I was watching the show, but when I was like red hair, I was like, oh my goodness, wow, okay. So this is gonna go either really good or this is gonna go really bad, right? So then they're talking and she's looking at him, he's looking at her, and it looks like it's going okay. And he's asking a lot of questions, which is good. It's so good when a person asks you a lot of questions. You want to dig deep, you want to get to know a person, and it seems like Clint is ready for marriage. I mean, I don't know. I'm still wondering about Clint because he seems like he is, but at the same time, well, we'll get into that later. So as he's asking her questions, he goes, all right, what are your deal breakers? And I was like, I'm loving this line of questioning, right? Let's just get it out there. Come on, let's get to it. And she goes, redheads. I was like, what? Red? Oh, shit. Clint cannot catch a break. She said redheads. Redheads. I said, oh God. And he's like, redheads, what's going on? So apparently Clint is not having a lot of luck in the hair color department. Man, yeah, that was kind of tough. And she said, because people, I dated somebody in the past and somebody thought that we were brother and sister, or that we were like, brother and sister and we're like making out or something. So she was like, I just don't want to date a redhead. So it didn't even seem to be as though, well, I don't know if it was as much of her lack of attraction to someone else with red hair, or if it is more about the perception, that other people have of her being with a redhead. So I just thought like, wow, okay, well, you know what? I mean, maybe it's time for Clint to date out. Now, you all know how I feel. If you're not getting it within your own community, your own ethnicity, okay, sometimes you got to date out, because dating out, sometimes people will find you more exotic and more attractive. I mean, it is what it is. I don't care if people like that or not, but sometimes that's what you got to do. Maybe he needs to start looking at some people from some different backgrounds, because I know some people from some certain countries that are like, oh my God, red hair, the person can be ugly as all go get out, but as long as they have red hair or blonde hair, like, oh, they're just like, so, they go crazy. So he might do better with a different ethnicity. Maybe that's what he needs. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. But anyway, so yeah, I guess that's the end of that date. I guess we won't be seeing any updates on that one. So anyway, so now Gina and Mac, it's time for their date, right? So they go on their date, and then they start talking about their exes and stuff like that. And he says like how he was not, how he finds Gina more attractive than Dominique. And I thought, oh, okay, this is interesting. I thought he was so into Dominique, like physically, but he's more into Gina. Well, but that's not to say he didn't find Dominique attractive, but Gina's more his type. I thought, oh, all right, okay, this is interesting, whatever. But I don't know if he's just being a little messy or not. But, so then he has to break to her the news about him moving to Michigan. And he's nervous about that, right? And, I mean, they do look nice together, I have to admit. And she's like, well, you know what? At first her face was like, oh, you're moving, right? And then he's like, she's like, okay, well, maybe we could still work out something. I mean, I'm not against a long distance relationship. So I thought to myself, okay, now that's a good thing that she's open to it. But the other part of that is that, like, Gina, she said, I've learned a lot from the marriage, and I've learned that I have to, make more time for myself, and I'm very much married to my job, because Gina's already on her way to teach some class, and hair cutting class or something in Canada. And, she's doing education. She does education, like she, trains the junior stylist in her salon. She's very busy. Plus, she's opening up the other salon. So I think the reason that she was like, okay, long-term relationship, that's not what I was planning, but she's probably thinking that's even better. I think a long-term relationship is exactly what she probably doesn't need, because that'll only allow her to stay really just like super macro focused on the business only. I think it's going to be hard for her if she goes into a long distance relationship and it'll wind up kind of just like, just like kind of floating away after a while. That's what I think. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, maybe we'll get some updates on them like in a year or 6 months or something. But so all the ladies get together and they go flower picking and they're talking about their dates and stuff, and the guys meet up as well. So now Dominique, come to find out, she tells the ladies that she video chatted with Gil apparently. So I mean, and they're like, Gil, oh okay, what's going on here? And then Nicole is like, but Gil lives in another state. And your whole preoccupation, well, she didn't say that to her face, she said that to the camera. Her whole preoccupation with what's his name, with Mac, was that he wasn't settled here. So like, why are you gonna, at least, I mean, and he didn't own a home here, but at least he was laying his head in Tennessee every night. Gil, where is Gil? Is he in Houston, I think? So I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see the Gil Dominique thing panning out. Do you guys? I mean, is that a group? Is that like a couple you guys would like to see together? And what do you guys think about Mac and Gina as well? So, Clint tells the guys that he's back in the saddle, and apparently he's been active again already. He's been, physically active already. And I'm like, okay, so, I mean, I understand, the casual thing, but if you're really intentional about getting married, then why are you still having like one night stands? So that's when it made me question, like, is he really ready for marriage? I don't know. I don't know now with him. I mean, I'm not saying you got to be like a monk or something, but it's only been 10 days. Like, how did you find somebody? Did you go to did you dig up an ex? Did you go to like some kind of site where you find people? Like, did you, like, how'd that happen so quickly? I mean, especially if everybody in that freaking town is like not attracted to redheads. I mean, did you obtain service? Like what happened? I mean, how did that happen? I just want to know a little bit more about that. But he was very hush hush about it. So I think it was something that he wasn't like maybe the most proud of, let's say. So I wonder how that went down. But yeah, so we'll see next week what's going to happen with these couples and stuff. I don't mind getting some of these like little after date things, but they could put that in one episode. I don't need to see like 3-4 episodes of that. And then all the, the people, the bloggers getting together, making their predictions about who's going to stay together after they've already had decision day, then a reunion. It's a bit much, but it's okay. We're here for the ride. I said I wouldn't do any videos if it was like too boring, but this wasn't too bad. I mean, this was still entertaining. But yeah, that's it, guys. But I will see you. Let's see. So in a couple of minutes, I'm going to do my Match Me Abroad live. That was on TLC. I was supposed to do that on Monday, but that was Memorial Day, so that's going to be coming in a little bit late. If you guys enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, share it with your friends. Make sure your notification bells are turned on so you know when I go live. So I'll see you in a few minutes if you decide to come back on. And if not, I will see you again on Monday for Match Me Abroad. If that's it, that's it. So take care, stay safe, and chipi salacho.